The J. Michaels Show.
Welcome to another episode. We have a wonderful guest for you today. Wendy Volpe is our guest, and she is an actress that's kind of just starting out. So we're going to go through not only things that she's appeared in, but the process of becoming an actress. Wendy, thank you so much for being my guest.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I am so glad. I was looking at your International Movie Database. It says that you were in Sentinel. Tell me about Sentinel, about that movie or that show.
About what?
Sentinel, yeah.
Well, the Sentinel, that was a movie about, I was a teacher in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine wrote and directed it, Joe Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a big role in that, but it was a scene where it was a school shooting, so I had to get all the kids out of the classroom and, outside to keep, get them safe.
Right.
So it wasn't a real big part, but it was a start.
So
I've had a few small kind of things that I've done.
Yeah. So what was the plot of Sentinel?
For the Sentinel?
Yeah.
It basically was about a father who comes into a school during a school shooting to try to save his son.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up, so it goes through the whole process of what he goes through with that and the frustration. And then, he saves his son, but he ends up dying. And Joe's premise for it was he was thinking it would be like a love note to his son. He was working on it for a long time, and he wanted his son to have something to be able to remember him by. So he was the one who gave him the idea. He said he was dropping his child off at school, and of course, school shootings are so prominent now.
Yeah.
That you never know.
Yeah. Well, who starred in that? Who is the father?
Joe Cunningham and Laura Stisser were the two main characters. And then there were, I think, James Marlowe, and trying to remember some of the main people.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody, recognizable.
Yeah. Did you audition for it, or were you asked to be in it?
I was asked to be in it. I belong to the Syracuse Actors Studio, and Joe Cunningham is the one that started it. Right. So he knew that when I got there, I was brand new, and he's really been very encouraging, and he's told me that he wants me in all his films. So he's given me an opportunity, to be in a couple of films. I didn't have too much there, but I did one, American Claudius, where I could build a little bit more of a character. It was kind of a docudrama, but it was, and that was fun.
Well, that was going to be my next question, is tell me about that one that you were in.
The scene the story line is somebody that, gentleman, he's trying to make money to do a play. And so the first scene I was in, he was out on the street with a sign saying that he needed, asking for money. So I kind of pulled up, and it was kind of a funny scene because I was supposed to feel like I kind of came on to him, and and I gave him, I just threw some money out at him, and so then I fell in love, sort of, and I went to audition for his play, which I was the last person he wanted to see. So while I was auditioning, I was like, flirting with him and trying to, I wasn't really, it was Shakespeare, but I wasn't really doing it. I was more looking at him and saying, so that was a lot of fun to do.
Have you done a lot of theatrical on stage work?
No, I just did a play, Opposite Ends, and that was the first time that I really had a chance to have a big part and really build a character. It was written by Diane Bostic, who is absolutely wonderful. And she had been preparing this for years because her brother had committed suicide, and she wanted a way to honor him. So she wanted to put a play together that would bring some comedy into the drama. And she had me play in one of the plays was Four Places, and I played a psychic medium. And I was working, with a woman that came in who thought that I needed all this help. And my whole thing was that I wanted to help her get out of the rut she was in. And my brother who had passed had told me about her, and that he wanted me to meet an artist, and that she was, it had something to do with Liberty. So she worked for this Liberty Resources. And so it was a fun part because there was a lot of different aspects to it. I mean, it was funny, it was intense. It turned out to be beautiful. We're actually she's calling it she says it's a work in progress because she wants to make it more so that we can, actually do it more and she did it for Mental Health Month. May is Mental Health Month. So we did the play, and then we had the audience, we did a feedback so they could ask questions if they wanted to. And that was very interesting to interact with people. And every day was something different. I mean, one night everybody's asking about the topic of the show. Then the following night it was more theater people there that were kind of critics, and they were just explaining all that stuff. And then it was like every time was a totally different group of people, but it was a wonderful experience.
Okay, so now that you've had a chance to be on film and on stage, do you have a preference? Is there one you like more than the other?
I'd like to work in film more than on stage. That's what I've been training for with Catherine Hart for the last 2.5 years or so, and she's just been amazing help to me because I didn't know what I was doing, and I wanted to act my whole life. I mean, since I was 9, I remember the exact moment when I said I wanted to do it, but I lived in a family that was all about sports, so drama wasn't exactly something that I had a lot of support with. So I would try out for things and really make a fool of myself because I wouldn't think about it. One time I don't sing. Yeah. And I went and auditioned for West Side Story. And I'm surprised I didn't break every window in the place trying to do it. But I mean, and Catherine tells me all the time that that it's good because when I'm terrified, I'll go out and try to do it anyway. But she's taught me a lot of skills because I had a coach before her, and I was getting really discouraged. Right. But I think she was teaching me more auditioning techniques before I was really learning any acting techniques. So I was thinking I wasn't going to be any good. And then I read an article that Catherine wrote about getting in touch, with deeper feelings. And I couldn't believe I actually emailed her and told her about myself and said, I don't know if I have any talent at all, but I've wanted to do this my whole life. And, I've been working with someone and I've been having trouble with, intense emotions on cue. So she got back to me and she's like, well, I don't think about talent. I just think about the person. And so we started working together, and it was funny because in the beginning, she said to me, she goes, well, now I need to know everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
And she probably wishes now that she never said that, because, I went on about, there was so many things,
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like, it became like acting became like my therapy.
Yeah.
But I kid with her now. I said, I bet you'll never ask me that again. But she's helped me personally and with acting.
We've had Catherine on the show, and she is a wonderful coach, and you can tell she brings a lot of enthusiasm to it.
Oh my gosh,
So
yes.
you
And
were.
she'll do anything to get you to where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And she, I watched her interview on your show too, and I have so much respect for her.
Right.
I've learned so much, and she's taught me to believe in myself. Taught me to, that about not being, I'm not too old, and
Yeah.
I have characteristics that make me, that will help me. Like, if I'll be terrified to do something, but I end up going out and doing it, even though I say I don't want to do it.
Right.
And, sometimes it turns out well, sometimes I bomb, but it's been a way to, to get experience. And
Yeah.
I've been doing, Jay Moranti comedy. He has a podcast that he does. That's all improv.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of fun too. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But it's like scripted improv. He'll come up with a situation that he wants to try to get across, and then, we'll just try to do that for him.
Yeah.
And he's been helpful. I've learned a lot from him too. So
You said that you got the bug to be an actress when you were 9. Did you do any kind of acting school plays or anything like that?
not really. See, right after that, like
Mm-hmm.
when I was 9, when I actually had that thought,
Mm-hmm.
I was, staying with my aunt and uncle,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when and I was watching, some shows, and I just said, well, that's what I want to do. So, but that was also when I was moving to a different town
Mm-hmm.
and going to be starting over. And it was a very hard transition for me. It was hard for me to meet people. So I became a lot more shy, and, I didn't have family support either.
Yeah.
It was very hard. So, and I didn't realize that I thought people just got up and did these shows. I didn't realize that, they had people teaching them stuff. So I thought, oh, well, no wonder I couldn't do it. I kept trying. And then in
Mm-hmm.
college, I got involved in theater.
Ah.
But, the people that got the parts were the theater majors. So,
Yeah.
but I got to experience being a stage manager. I did sound. I did
Right.
costume. I did a little of everything. So I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And, and it was the first time I ever felt like I was really in my element.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine how maybe my brothers felt when, they were on a football team or something,
Right.
because I never really felt a part of anything.
Yeah.
And so, that was the first time that I felt that. And that's what's starting to happen now.
Yeah.
And then, but I did meet a girl that became my best friend. And her sister had just gotten her first part as an actress. And, I really admired her. And I was a big fan of her show. So so that was kind of cool to be able to, know somebody that was doing that too.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I was
yeah.
going to ask you also, is there any one particular actor or actress that inspires you that you would like to be like them, maybe?
Well, let's see. I don't know if there's a specific
Mm-hmm.
actress. My favorite actor
Mm.
is Tom Hanks.
Ah.
I love how he works. I love how he transforms himself into different characters. And I mean, I don't know if I could ever get to the point where I could do that, but I have so much respect for his process and what he must go through to do that. You know, because I know how hard it is now that I'm trying to learn how to, get into a character. I can't imagine, completely transforming myself into this person.
Right. Well, a lot of people, they'll lose weight or they'll gain weight or something like that for a role. Are you willing to do whatever you have to get a role, to be a character?
I would do, I mean, if I were offered something, my feeling is I would do whatever it takes. Right. I mean, I will work at it until I get it. The hard thing about starting when you're older is that, it's harder, to get like representation. It's harder to get yourself out there. And so Catherine and I have been working on, she calls it my Betty White thing. She thinks that I have a Betty White character. And so she said that if we develop that will give them something to see that I can do. So we've been, doing stuff like that. And it's, it's just a continuing growth process because it's just, because I started it, I had major loss several years ago. And I didn't know, I was with this person for 33 years and he passed away suddenly. And all of a sudden I'm like, who am I, without him? And it wasn't too long before COVID. So right after that, and then I was kind of isolated with COVID. And, I don't have much of a relationship with my family, unfortunately. So I don't really hear from them much. So I started thinking, and one day I just thought, maybe I'll take an acting class. And so I started looking, and then I realized they had coaches. And so I started looking into that, and it's kind of, become a way that I can really, it's just brought a lot of joy into my life. It's brought a lot of, and a challenge, and it's, it's made me feel good because I've wanted to do it for so long. It just, some kids will feel that way when they're young, and it passes. It has never, ever gone away. I mean, it's like all through my career, through everything, it never stopped being what I wanted to do. So, I just thought, well, why not? What do I have to lose at this point, really? I mean, I can only gain.
Well, it sounds like you're living your dream. Is there any particular role, character that you can think of that you would like to play that character, a Betty White type or something? Did you really feel like
there's that I think I can fit that kind of part. I did audition for a Hallmark movie that was a woman that was a mother and trying working with her daughter to get this whole event put together. And it was the first audition that I think was a pretty good audition. And but it's hard. That was the first time I've actually put in anything professionally. And it takes a lot. I mean, and I'll tell you, the first time I got this audition for this commercial, and to this day I have like trauma over commercials. Catherine and I spent about 5 hours trying to get this right. And I just couldn't get it right. I wasn't, and she said, I wasn't there. And her thing is that I had to go through that. And I'm like, why did you tell me to even send it in? That was awful. And she says, you've got to start there. Now, if I were to do it now, it probably would be very different. That was probably 2 years ago. And, things have changed so much since then. I've learned so much since then. But because I was just talking to her because I was submitted to a commercial. And I said, and I was also submitted for a part on Blue Bloods, which, probably 1 in a million chance. But I have hope. And I said to her, I'm not nervous about the Blue Bloods thing nearly as much as the commercial after the last debacle. I said, because I feel like I don't know if I could do a commercial. And she told me, well, you've come a long way since then. So,
what was the commercial about? What was the product?
The one that I did first, it was for Rise Coffee.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't even know what Rise was. There were 2 of them. There was one for Rise, and then there was one that I was a spokesperson for some sort of an automobile place. And that's, and it was just, for some reason, just getting to be where it would, sound natural and sound, the right way. I couldn't do it. But she really taught me not to give up.
Were these national commercials or local commercials?
I'm sorry,
Were they national?
One of them was. The other one, no. That was just, I think, going to be online or whatever. The one that I've been submitted for is a national commercial, which would be, it would be amazing. From what I'm hearing, they're looking at, the casting people are looking at my profile, and so I'm being considered for that one. I think it's, Fidelity Insurance one, and then the part for the Blue Bloods part, which is kind of exciting. It's hard, I found this one casting site that actually makes sense for someone like me, because it's called Casting Companion. And what it does is it basically builds a database for both casting people and for actors. So when they go in, they match you up. So when a director or a casting director is looking for somebody in particular, they can put that in, and then if you match, it comes right up. And I'm surprised, because they told me that apparently there's a lot of filming now going on where I live, because I live in Syracuse, New York. And I thought, gosh, if I really want to do this, I'm going to have to go to New York or somewhere bigger, where they have more. But apparently they're doing an awful lot here. They're filming it's actually becoming a big hub. And the Syracuse Actors Studio has been a big part of it. We had our first film fest, and now we have one studio, Syracuse Studios, but there's another one that's coming in that is like LA quality. It has they can do everything. Steven Spielberg would be able to film, because it has all all the different everything that he would need.
Well, so anything that you've been in so far, have you had to travel, or has everything been pretty easy to get to?
I haven't traveled. I've tried to go for things that I would travel, because I would travel. I'm willing, to travel, to go to different sites, because Buffalo's not too far away, and they do a lot there. I haven't been offered anything that required it, but I have down that I would be willing to travel for. I just really would like to be able to get real experience. The play I did was great for me, because it gave me a lot of experience, because I had to really develop the character. It was a pretty intense character. And then there were a few directors and writers that actually came to see it. And one person who knew me he said, you did very well. Now I know you can handle a show. I mean, you can, and so that felt good. So I'm hoping that maybe I mean, you have to get the exposure,
Right.
especially because in the beginning, it's hard with auditions, and they're so strange now anyway.
Yeah.
And so, but if you like, I'm somebody that I'm not great at doing audition right now. I'm getting better, but if I have a part, I'm good at developing the character and putting it together, and I'm willing to work as hard as I can. I mean, I was so grateful for the opportunity that I had. I mean, I put my whole heart and soul into it until until I got what I needed to do. And, Catherine's been there to support me, so I'd probably use her. So we'll have to, we'll have to see what happens.
Right. So Catherine, she's north of Dallas, and you're in New York. So are your classes virtual?
Yeah, they're virtual.
Yeah.
I would love to go there and actually work in person with her sometime, but I don't know what I would ever do going to Dallas. I don't know anything about it.
Well,
I've never been out there.
You would like Texas. It's big, but I think you would really enjoy being just there.
But
I
mean, I've been working with her virtually for a long time. I mean, I feel like I really know her, but I would really, I hope is at one time I would be able to actually meet her, because I'm so grateful for her.
Yeah.
I am so grateful to her. She's hung in there, and she's really taken me a long way, and really shown me what I can do.
Exactly.
And that's, it's so important, because I've never had somebody that really supported me and told me I was good at something. I haven't, that hasn't been my experience in life.
Yeah.
So, to have somebody that's been that positive and that's helped me to start thinking that way too.
Right. Someone
which was
that
the real
believes in
challenge.
you. Yeah. Okay, so you were talking earlier about being older and getting involved in acting. What would be your advice to someone, say, close to your age that was also considering wanting to do acting? Where would you tell them to begin, and what would be your advice for them?
Oh, I would tell them to go for it. I mean, it's not easy, but I don't know, doing this has given me so much joy. I mean, it's brought so much joy and excitement into my life. I have something that I can look at. It's something that is who I am. And I think it's been who I am my whole life. I just never really got a chance to show it.
You had to explore it. You had to find out. So there was one other thing you did. You did a short film, and you played Party Karen. Tell me about
Oh,
Amariah.
that was Amariah.
Yeah.
That was a great film, and that also was starring Laura Stisser, and it was written and directed by Joe Cunningham. And it was a very minor part that I had. That was the first film that I was able, to get into. But it was a spy movie, and it turned out, it was very good. But the scene that I was in was it was a birthday party, and the main character had a drinking problem, and I had to kind of confront her, like, what the hell are you doing, kind of thing. But that was about all I did. But it was my first experience doing a film.
Did you have any stage fright? Any fear of the cameras?
Surprisingly, I haven't. I don't know. And I was worried about that, doing something on stage. I didn't, I didn't think I could do it. But it just seemed to come naturally to me.
Mm-hmm.
I a lot of times, well, we did a promotional thing on a local news channel for opposite ends.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I wasn't nervous about it until I'm sitting in the green room,
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to go in for the interview. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. But I mean, it went well. But
Mm-hmm.
when I'm actually doing a character,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten nervous. I haven't, auditions make me nervous, but I've done a couple recently for other theatrical productions, and it's good practice.
Yeah.
It really, and I'm starting to get to know people, and people are starting to get to know me, which is what it takes, really.
Well, doing this doesn't seem to be that you're having an issue with it. So, do you like talking about yourself?
Do I like talking about myself?
Yeah.
One of the things I'm not really good at is self promotion,
Right.
but I'm learning because you kind of have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying, "Oh no, you got to get on Instagram. You got to do these video things." And I mean, I didn't grow up in the technology age, so all this stuff is so new to me.
Yeah.
And now everything's done, pretty much self tapes
Yeah.
and all that, and having to figure out editing, which I still haven't really figured out.
Yeah.
But I've never been one to really promote myself. But I'm learning, and I'm starting to feel better about myself. So the more the more I do, and the more confidence I build, the easier it is to go out there. And then watching people, a lot of the people in the actor's studio have a lot of experience or have done a lot of things. I'm probably one of the least experienced people there, but they're so supportive of me, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've helped me tremendously.
Yeah.
And they're always there. I talk to them about the frustration of trying to get a part, trying to get an audition, or trying to win an audition.
Right.
For the theater, and they're like, you just got to keep going, and you got to keep trying, because it doesn't happen overnight.
How often do you do, say, an audition tape for something? How often do you send something in?
Recently, I haven't had too many to send in. I've sent in probably 3 or 4, and then I've been involved in some things that I didn't need to do that for. I did kind of a background thing for a premiere for a new TV series, which I was able to get into. I kind of gave myself the exposure, and I thought they were going to tell me to move. I was playing a cafeteria worker, and the other people were kind of standing behind the counter there. Well, I kind of plopped myself in front of the counter and put my hand up, watching, like I was watching the kids in the cafeteria, and they liked that. Yeah. So they said, okay, when we went back, you guys go behind the counter, you take your spot. So I kind of made a spot for myself.
Yeah.
And so I'd be more visible. I don't know when this production is going to come into play, but I'm gonna, I keep looking, and I keep trying to find opportunities. I'm hoping one of the opportunities that I've submitted for recently will come through. It would be nice, I mean, it would be like a dream to get even a guest starring role on something like Blue Buds or The Good Doctor or whatever. I mean, that would be, and that's national. So
Yeah.
you can get the exposure, and then once you have those things on your resume, um, it's a lot easier.
Right. Because you can say, well, I had a guest shot in Blue Bloods or NCIS or some show like that. And
Right.
then you gain that momentum. You'll go into other things.
Yeah, and then the people that you're working with there get to know you and get to
Right.
know your work habits, and what you're willing to do.
Hmm.
So that's something that I'm hoping for. I'm trying to figure out. I have no clue how to go about trying to even get an agent.
Hmm.
That's the most frustrating thing for me,
Yeah.
because I'm like, well, did you just call these people and say, hey, you want me? Or I need representation. But
Right.
and that's where I have to be, more bold about myself. Hey, I
Right.
can do this. I have something to offer you if you
Hmm.
give me a chance to do it.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like I said, Catherine and I talk about a lot, is trying to find things that I can use the Betty White persona,
Hmm.
because she said that she sees that a lot in me,
Hmm.
which was, I mean, that was quite a compliment to me, because I think Betty White
Yeah.
was an amazing.
Actress.
She was just amazing, and
Yeah.
she was a kind, good person, which
Hmm.
is, you know, uh, which is also important. I mean, I hope that someday, um, I can do something that uh, might be helpful to somebody, like
Right.
some type of a movie or show that deals with a certain issue that might help people,
Hmm.
because that's kind of my nature. Yeah,
Hmm.
I was, by profession, I was a social worker,
Right.
and I care a lot about people,
Right.
and even now, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, I find myself trying to support people that are getting really down about
Hmm.
the world, or losing their faith, and I feel the urge to say, no, don't do that, don't give up,
Yeah.
because even though it I've had to stop watching the news so much because it
Yeah.
gets overwhelming, but it's I don't know, I would just like to do something that maybe would make a difference.
Right.
Not My goal has never been to be famous or rich. I've just wanted to, I've just wanted to be able to act, to work, um, and hopefully be able to give.
Hmm.
And that's because that's so important to me.
Right. The Of course, every actress or actor wants steady work. Um, would you want to do like a sitcom, a regular series, or a drama or something? And then also, what if you have a whole lot of dialogue? Do you think you can handle that?
I think so. I'm much better now. Having to learn the lines for this play
Hmm.
made me feel gave me a lot more confidence, because I had a lot to learn. And in film, actually, it's not quite as difficult, because you go from scene to scene. So, and also you're not live generally, but it
Hmm.
would be a dream to get some kind of a sitcom. I've
Right.
kind of gotten to like comedy.
Hmm.
You know, I just have fallen into it with some of the opportunities I've had. But you know, drama. I'm just there's certain things that I'd like to see if I could do. I
Yeah.
mean, like that something that took a lot of emotional,
Hmm.
um, the ability to really get emotional, and that's something that I want to do with Catherine one of these days.
Yeah.
I would prefer to do something like that in person, but I don't know. I We'll have to see what happens.
Well, that segues well into my next comment or question. Do you prefer comedy or drama? What would be your favorite?
I've really started, to like comedy, which I never thought I could do.
Yeah.
I mean, drama is great too. I like both, but I've had a lot of fun. The part I played in Four Places in the play that I just did it was like a, dramedy. There's drama and there was comedy. So it was fun, and you had to really, kind of find the balance there.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun doing that. I never thought that I could do comedy.
Hmm.
I mean, I never, I always thought I could do, that drama would be,
Yeah.
Comedy's hard.
Yeah.
And, I know some people who are stand-up comics, and those
Right.
people I really
Hmm.
respect, because that's tough.
Yeah.
Getting up there and you're really putting yourself out there
Hmm.
to do that.
So,
So
do you have anything on the horizon? I mean, something you're about to be in, a play or another short or movie?
I'm
Something you
I'm
haven't filmed
waiting,
yet?
to hear about a couple of projects, and
Right.
then there are some people in the area too uh, that have just written their own plays and will be casting for, or their movies. They're going to be that
Hmm.
are casting, and I'm hoping, to get involved in those also.
Yeah.
You know, with more of a part. I mean, I've had the opportunity to be part of films,
Hmm.
but I really would love to be able to have a real part.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping now that somebody told me, they said, well, now I know you can carry a show.
Right.
That, you know, that meant a lot to me, because that means a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
because he's seen me do little bits and pieces here and there, but never really seen me when I could develop a character and
Hmm.
actually be that person and, do a whole play. So, and that's a challenge. I mean, I met a
Exactly.
director that I auditioned for a play that I actually went to see, and it was a comedic uh, kind of part.
Hmm.
And I was surprised, because I went to see the play, and the director remembered me by name.
Hmm.
And he said, the hardest part about being a director is you have to say no to people.
Hmm.
You can't, and I said, well, it's okay. It's an experience for me.
Hmm.
And I told him, to be honest, that was the first audition I did that I actually felt really good about. Like, I might have a shot. And he said, you should have felt that way. So I think he liked the audition that I did.
Hmm.
So, and that's confirming.
Yeah. It's always good to get that encouragement. Okay, so if someone wanted to find you, get in touch with you, you have social media, and do you have a website yet?
I don't have a website. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but I'm going to have to figure it out, because it would help. I'm just getting my little videos together and start, trying to, figure things out.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's how a
but
lot of people are doing it now, is they're making like little TikTok videos or Instagram videos and posting it so people see them act, see them do something. Is that
yeah, I
something
think
that
I think that
interests you?
gets it out. Yeah, I think that gets you out there more than even, some of these casting sites
Hmm.
are very frustrating,
Right.
and they're expensive.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of people use Actors Access. Well, I went to, it was, I don't know, someone was, casting director was doing a presentation on what they do.
Hmm.
And when she showed me how they look through there, and the other thing is that the people on there, if they have an agent or a manager, there's a little symbol there. And those are the people they look at.
Right.
So as they're going through tens of thousands of people at once, they're really looking for, they're going to take those people more seriously. So, I thought, well, why am I going to spend all that money just to join, and then extra money to post pictures and extra money to post videos? So I'm trying to find, different ways. And what's, now that, I know how to kind of post, but I'm going to have some video of the play that I was in, because they taped it too. So, they put part of that out there. And
right. Well, Wendy, we will put all your links below this, the video and the audio of our interview today, so people can find you. And I wanted to thank you so much for being my guest. You've been wonderful. And I've learned a lot about starting out as an actor from you.
well, thank you. My thoughts are going like, well, geez, what do I have to offer? I haven't done anything yet,
Well,
or I'm just starting.
You have a whole lot to offer. Never think that you don't have anything to offer, because you absolutely do. And you're willing to share. Even though what you've done so far isn't what you consider a lot, you're willing to share what you have learned. And that, too, is important.
And that's what I hope. Maybe other people that are like me will consider it. Not to be afraid to go for their dreams.
Right, you gotta go for it. Wendy, thank you again so much for being my guest.
Well,
We will see you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been wonderful.
We will see you next time on the show.
Goodbye.